You ready? Okay. To say that we're incredibly disappointed on senior day is probably an understatement. Regardless of what our record is, we thought that almost the entire season that we were taking steps in a positive direction to the end result, which is in March. And, really you take away the UMass game and this game, we've played really well for the most part in every other game. And then the first game of the season, which was so long ago and we only had 6 players. But this was a disappointment today. I think that, St. Joe's did a great job of coaching. I thought that Cindy did a great job of isolating certain players, and, we did not do a good job of executing our scout. And, they were the aggressor, and that's probably the thing that disappoints me more than anything is how aggressive they were from the moment the ball was tipped up till the end of the game. And on a senior day, it felt like they wanted it more than us, and just really disappointed today.
Dan, as it relates to the third quarter, you got outscored by a single player. Your team got outscored by the same player, 18 points to 15. Just was that a lack of consistent execution in similar fashion? What do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to that player is Mackenzie Smith is a really good basketball player. We know Mackenzie very well, and she's a fantastic basketball player, and she's as hard-nosed as any kid that you're going to find. She plays basketball like a hockey player, and that's the highest compliment I can give her because she's tough as nails. And she made shots with people in her face. She made shots with people not in her face. And she's very hard to guard because she creates so much contact. And today she was rewarded for creating contact. And we were not in position where we could take a charge on her because they were shooting the ball so well from 3. And so we didn't have a lot of great help because we had to stay with our men. And, she did what she did in the third quarter, and we tried multiple things with her, and, she was hot. She's a heck of a player.
Your body language was noticeable throughout. There were players that even had backs turned when offensive rebounds were being won. Just what do you think led to the body language and maybe made it contagious today?
Well, I don't know about that. I know that, from a rebounding perspective, not just offense but defensive rebounding, both sides. I've really stressed over the last month about us trying to draw fouls while going to rebound. In other words, we want to be so physical that for every 4 rebounds we get, offensive or defensively, we're going to pick up a foul once in a while because that's the level of aggression that you have to have in February. And, it was disappointing to see players, like you said, turning and retreating. And we had a fair amount of that. And, multiple times where I subbed to hopefully affect that change. And the people that I subbed with, they didn't understand the importance of it either.
You had a little bit of a slow start there in the first half, picked it back up towards the end. You know, only a 3-point deficit, and the same was kind of true for the second half, and kind of ended the same way, not quite enough. Is that a point of concern, kind of that slower start going forward, going into the conference tournament?
No, because the seniors that started won't be the lineup that we will have when we start, and that's not a slam at our seniors, but I wanted to make sure that we honored them correctly because a lot of them have a lot of wins in this program, but our lineup will be different than what it has been over the last month. Also, what we will do when we get to the tournament. There'll be some changes, some tweaks, and some changes to the lineup, what we do offensively and what we do defensively.
Specifically as it relates to the seniors, Dan, getting Amanda out there even for just those few minutes with what she's had to battle through these last couple of years, just how meaningful, I know it's a loss, so that's fresh, but how meaningful was it to at least have her physically on the floor today?
Well, I'm glad she had the opportunity to play in her final game. I think you could see that she's not a healthy Amanda Kalen, and that's unfortunate because if Amanda would have held her health during her career here, she'd be one of the better players in school history, and she had some unfortunate run of injuries, and I was hoping that she could get warm and affect change in the game, but she's just not healthy enough right now.
Without getting fined, just overall, just officiating obviously was a hot topic today. Had multiple dialogues with officials. Just what were the overall contentious points that maybe drove you to that point?
I don't think there was any contention at all. I mean, do we ask Keith this question? Because I think Keith talks probably to the refs just as much as I do. Like the difference probably is that these three officials, they know that I used to be a college basketball referee, and like the gentleman said, it's a situation where like I want to hear what you have to say. And on that play where Meg was injured, we clearly thought that there was a foul. Contact, even ugly contact, doesn't mean that it's a foul, but we thought it was a foul. And that's where we asked them to go to the table, and they looked at the video, and they didn't have anything there. They officiated the game well. I mean, like, it was consistent. I didn't have a problem with it, but when you have a player who leads and creates the contact, you're trying to work for that call so that you can get that charge or you can get some sort of offensive call there. And we didn't get that. And I'll tell you the reason why is the aggressiveness of St. Joe's allowed the game to be officiated that way. And they took that, and we did not.
Is that coach not coaching the players the adjustment, players just not seeing the adjustment, a combination? What would you attribute that to?
That's the way 21, Mackenzie Smith, has played her whole life. I mean, I've watched her play since she was a freshman in high school. And that's the way she plays. She's really, really aggressive, and I think that her team feeds off that, and they feed off how much contact that she creates when she gets there. And then she finishes a heck of a lot of plays because she's physically very strong. And I think it's just a situation of, they're feeding off of her more than anyone, and they made a lot of shots early. This is a team that averages 6 threes a game. And I think they shot something like 60% in the first half or something close to that. And they made a ton of threes in the first half, which forced us to guard them closer than what we had wanted to, and it opened up driving lanes. And they exploited it then.
As you prepare for midweek now, not completely knowing where you're at for Delaware, just from a team perspective, where do you feel this team is at as you go into your third season?
Well, that's a tough one because before this game today, we felt really great about ourselves, and we felt really good that we had continued to take positive step after positive step. But today is one of those ones where it shakes your confidence a little bit, especially immediately after. I believe that we can win the Atlantic 10 championship. And I know there's a lot of people in that locker room who are going to play on Wednesday or Thursday that believe that also. But we won't do that, and we won't win a game in the tournament if we are not the aggressor from the tip. And that's not just on defense, that's on offense also. And so some of the tweaks that we'll make will allow us to be a little bit more aggressive offensively earlier in the shot clock. And then defensively, a little bit of it is frankly effort. And, we'll have to get a little bit better there.
Dan, between COVID, injuries, and not having a true home arena, what can you say about this senior class and what they've had to go through or gone through in the past few years to get here?
It's been a lot. We've kind of moved on from COVID. We've been pretty healthy. We haven't had. I think we're one of the few teams in the Atlantic 10 to not finish their regular season with playing all 16 games. We have an arena, so we've kind of moved on from those things. I think that you add the injuries into it, and it's been a lot. I mean, you look at what Libby Bazelak has gone through, and Libby is just a warrior and an exceptional kid, but her injuries have affected her, and she's not exactly the same player physically as she was before the injury. but I mean, she's going to go down as one of the toughest kids and one of the better players that we've had. Libby's always been outstanding. Amanda, we've talked about. Laya has, been injured for 2 years, and we were hoping when they came back that we could get them healthy and they would be in health. And they've had setback and setback, and it hasn't been ideal for them, and it hasn't been I don't want to use the word fairy tale, but it hasn't been the dream or the goal that they wanted or we wanted, and so for that, this is really, really the first class where, like, they probably walk away with disappointment, and I understand why, because we're used to success here, and I don't put that on them. I think there's just been so many things that have happened, and they've tried to battle through that. But, at the end of the day, you're measured on wins and losses, and we didn't do that this year. And, we can talk about injuries all we want and all the other things. At the end of the day, it comes down to wins and losses. Fatu was only with us a short time, 9 months. But Fatu has been someone who's been at times magnificent and has been a good player for us, and we've really enjoyed her. And then Hallie Bovell has, everyone pretty much knows about the injury situation there. She was not expected to play basketball ever again, and I felt like she's been a positive contributor this season with her defense, her maturity, and really knowing the offense and the defense well, and knowing the scout probably better than anyone. I don't want those guys to go out this way. And I'm obviously really disappointed with where we are from a record standpoint. But we have a week next week where some of that bad taste in our mouths that we have can be changed. And that's what March Madness is. And so the disappointment of today and the little bit of, lack of confidence, a shot at our confidence, and it will be there. But hopefully that we'll be able to work through that on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And on Thursday, we'll be the aggressor on both ends of the floor. And one thing about young kids, they're resilient. And so if we can put a good first game together, they're not going to remember this game. They're going to remember what they did 30 minutes prior, and we get that first one. But that first one, again, is us being aggressive on offense and defense from the tip.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you for supporting women's basketball. I appreciate you being here.